It's Saturday morning and I'm tired. Is that a prelude? Hello, today I'm trying to make a video of things that you need to check for when you're purchasing a used E36 BMWs. These in the United States were available for sale from 1992 to 1999, but the M3s, the Motorsport 3s, were available from 1995 to 1999. On the 1995 M3s, they came with the S50, which was a 3-liter engine, and then after 96 to 99, they came with S52, which was revised 3.2-liter engine. But they're pretty much the same. I have all body style. That is E36 sedan. This is E36 convertible, and that is E36 coupe that I have no idea what I'm doing with. So let's start with the body. This is the E36 328i, and you can see that the side mirrors are different. The M3s have a little bit more sportier side mirror, and they both have motor inside so you can move it. These are very, very small. Like, that's my hand. You can't really see much, but that's the M3 side mirrors. This is the regular side mirror, a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, this one came with the M3 bumper, so it kind of looks a little more aggressive. The M3 bumper is a little bit sticking out over here, and then they're a little lower on the front. The rear bumpers are a little bit different. This looks like stock 328i bumper with the M3 diffuser. The M3s have a plastic diffuser over here, and the bumpers are a little bit lower on this side. On the E36 regular bumper, they're like just a little bit curved in over there. Other than that, oh, the side skirts are a little different. This is the regular sport side skirts, and that is the M3 side skirts. The M3 side skirts are a little bit sticking out over here. When I'm checking the side skirts, I found out that the fender is bent. What that means is someone used those horrible stock jacks with the front tire off and the car fell off, so the fender's bent. That is what happens. And my neighbor has one too. Right there, that one. It's a 98. So the 4-doors are, what's funny is that 4-door and 2-door, people think it would be different in terms of like performance or weight or size, but on the E36s, the 4-door, the wheelbase and the wheelbase of the coupes are identical, which means you can take the drive shaft out of this one and it'll fit into that drive shaft. That coupe actually has the drive shaft from my old 4-door M3, and it fits. So the size is basically the similar, and the weight is even the similar. So the performance is basically the same. It's just that 4-doors have a little bit, it's got 2 more doors, and I would say it's a little bit more bigger on the inside. So when you get into the car, if you're in the M3, it would have the M3 side skirts, which got it from my old M3. And if you get in, if you're in an M3, there will be a Motorsport logo right there, and this will be 3-spoke instead of 4-spoke. However, the older M3s, like the 95 and 96, comes with the 4-spoke steering wheel. This is a 99, the latest M3, and you can see it's got the 3-spoke steering wheel. On the interior wise, if it's M3, it would have these either the sports seats or these Vader seats. Mine is pretty busted over here, but this one is in a better condition. So this would be better condition Vader seats. And the back seats would have the Motorsport stripes, the 3 BMW stripes as well. Other than that, they are pretty much the same. I mean, it might have M3 carpets or not, but it's pretty much the same from here to there. Underneath the hood, this is the regular M52 328i engine. with the S52 valve cover. So on the 325i's, they got the M50 2.5 liter engine, and the 318 they have the 1.8 liter 4-banger engine, and 328s are 2.8 liter single vanos, and the M3s have the S52, which is a 3.2 liter single vanos engines. This is basically stock, but some things that you have to look is the intake part. On this here, there should usually be a traction control system. He cut it out. This is M50 intake manifold, which is a common modification. This is an intake manifold from 325i. Tends to be bigger than the 320A or the S52 intake manifold, so people swap them out occasionally. This is how the stock S52 looks like. This is bone stock. If you have the OBD1 version, which is the 95 S52, it won't have this. This is the secondary air injection, which goes out every once in a while. It's just for the emission. Some common things to check for on the engine bay is that if you have the older models, like the before 96 models, the water can get into the ECU harness. If you take these off, there's an ECU engine computer inside, and then when the water sips in through and then it gets clogged up with water, your whole ECU gets shorted out and your car's just not going to start. It's just not going to drive. I've heard some happy cases where people buy those cars and they know what they're doing, and they simply just swap out the DME and they have a perfect running car. This is the secondary air injection, which runs for about 30 seconds when you start the car. When you start the car, you'll hear that little whining noise. That is a secondary air injector. It's running. And another things to check is that these cooling system tends to go out very often. Like every 40 or 60,000 miles, these things will go out. This is out. This cooling system is basically dead. You can see the previous owner put these stop leak thing, which he tried to last a little longer, but it gave up, which is why I bought this car. You know, trying to place it and sell it. They're rather easy. I'll give you a better look at it. There is a fan shroud, which is right here. This fan thing that spins. Oh, this is the harness. It shouldn't be here. This is the fan, and there's a radiator. Basically, you need a special tool. You need a special tool that looks like this to hold the bolts on the fan, and then take it off with the 32mm wrench, and the fan comes off. And once the fan comes off, you can basically just like other cars, take all the things off, take the radiator off. That is the thermostat housing, and the water pump is a little underneath there. It's not like Hondas where you have to do the whole new timing belt thing. You don't have to do those. They're pretty easy. These are chain driven. They have timing chains in it, not belts, and they tend to last as long as the engine itself lasts. It's not something that you have to worry about. It's not like VR6s where the chain actually goes out because of lack of oil. This is the washer tank, and you can see this one has the stock alarm system, and I think my 328i does not have. Oh, it has stock alarm system too. Interesting. Another things to check is if you're having a low car, you need to check if the oil pan is damaged or not. When I bought this, I can't really get the camera in there, but when I bought this, the oil pan was cracked. You can just literally drive off the driveway, see if there's a puddle of oil inside, or you can just simply check if the engine oil level is there. These dipsticks are horrible. I never have no idea where the actual oil is. But this is the dipstick. Another thing to check is the power steering unit. You can't really see much from the top of the engine. That is the power steering fluid reservoir, which is very hard to get to. And the power steering pump is underneath the alternator, which you can see those bolts over there. That is the power steering pump. So it's more like you have to crawl underneath to see what's going on there. And it's really difficult to check from the top of the car, because even if you take that out, as long as some kind of fluid's there, you're not so sure if the fluid is missing or not, or it could be just a little low. Great things to check is, crawl underneath. Oh, this one's already off the ground. Cool. So this is underneath the car, and there is a steering rack. This is the M3 steering rack, and this is a steering, power steering, the hose. Damn it. That part where it actually goes into the power steering pump tends to leak. Look for any leaks, see if it's dry. This one looks like it's dry because this car hasn't run for like a year. There's the engine, the oil pan. See, that is a subframe right there, and you see the subframe and the oil pan are pretty much on the same level. So if you scrape bottom out the car, it's gonna damage the oil pan, and that is part of the oil pan too. And you can tell this will be a bitch and a half job to replace the oil pan, which I did on the 328. You have to basically take off the whole subframe and then hoist the engine from the top to get the oil pan out of there. Another thing that you want to check is the motor mount, which is like in there. You see that part is the mount that engine sits on, and that part over there, that is the motor mount. They tend to go out. If the motor mount goes out, engine might idle a little weird, and it's gonna shift a lot. So there are only two motor mounts. There are one over there and the one over there, both sitting on the subframe, and the rest of the engine and everything is on the transmission mounts. There are two more tranny mounts on the back, so that's basically everything that's holding the engine there. So if one of the or both motor mounts go out, if you rev up the car, engine's gonna shift a lot, and that's something you have to change as well. So as you can tell on this car, the stock intake box is out, and you can tell by just taking out the intake box, I get access to a lot of the stuff. That is OBD1 stuff. OBD2 cars won't have that. I think that is a charcoal canister for the emission. The charcoal canister for the S52s are on the trunk underneath the spare tire. They go out every once in a while too. This is the radiator hose that goes into the actual block. This is the cruise control, and that is a stock traction control system. And that is a brake. The ABS, the brake pump, is underneath there. Very hard to see. I haven't really heard, a lot of problems with the ABS. They seem to be working okay. There are the throttle bodies down there, and this one, people, that is not your throttle body, that is your traction control. And there's a throttle body. This is the S52 intake manifold that I was talking about. You can see it's a lot thinner, and I'm not sure what was the purpose of that, but apparently if you can gain a lot of high-end power by putting S50 manifold in there. I mean the M50 manifold in there. They're driven by 6 coil packs. They tend to go out when one of them goes out. So if one of them goes out, the rest of the 6 goes out somewhat around there too. So now I'm looking at the right side spindle assembly. That is a rusted ass rotor because I've never driven this. They come with the M3s, come with a little bigger calipers than the regular E36s, and because the actual caliper is bigger, this whole spindle area is also a little thicker. So those parts are not interchangeable. That's what the M3 is a little bit different. and this is sitting on coilover, and that is sitting on Bilstein coilovers, and that is sitting on just regular stock shocks plus the H&R springs. These M3 suspension and regular E36 suspensions are not interchangeable, and I don't know about the stock ones, but a lot of them have aftermarket ones, and they might have camber plates. They might have some camber angles. Make sure you don't buy something with a lot of cambers. I'm personally against the whole camber thing. That car, the 328, has stupid camber on the back, and I hate it. That is the this is the ABS sensor that mounts into the spindle area. These bushings over here, this is the lower control arm for the thing. This goes to the frame, this goes to the lower ball joint, and that goes to the subframe. And those two bushings tend to go out, and that bushing, that is called, I call it lollipop, but that bushing also goes out rather easily. The M3s have thicker sway bars than the regular ones, and haven't really had any problems with them. And let's go to the back. Okay, now we're on the back tire. So wait, is that LTW rims? What? Anyways, something that you have to check is that I think before 97 M3s, the subframe mounting points are weaker, and if you like drift every day, occasionally that trailing arm falls off the chassis, and you're gonna be able to tell. After 97, they were reinforced from the factory, but if you're buying one of those older ones, make sure you jack up the car and then claw underneath and then see if those mounting points are okay. This is the 95, and the owner reinforced them. So that is a trailing arm, says Motorsport logo, so this is M3. And then the mount, which is up there somewhere, over there, that can fall off, and then you have to put reinforcement plates and you have to weld it onto the chassis. The differential on these cars tend to be pretty reliable. I've never had any problems with them. The M3 manual ones have a 3.23 ratio LSD, and the automatic ones actually has higher ratio, 3.93, to compensate the slow rev. This is a truck. Make sure it has all the toolboxes. It's good to have it. The battery is on the back, and now let's go to the interior. Now that is stripped. One thing I forgot to mention on the inside, these fan shrouds, they're garbage. These plastic brakes, and it will cut your your belts and all that stuff, and a lot of people take them off. You could take it off, and then you have to just put another electrical fan in it, and you'll be okay. So now we're on the inside of the convertible. So a couple quick things to check is, when I actually started, this is called the OBC unit. It's like, you can communicate with the car, and it tells you what's wrong with the computer, and it has some functions in it. This is 18 button OBC, and some of them only have just 11 buttons on the top. They tend to go out all the time, and these tend to go out all the time, and even these tend to go out all the time. This is non-stock. And sometimes you won't see anything, sometimes it won't even work, and it's pretty common thing. You'll notice. And when you go inside, and then when you press the check button, it will tell you what's wrong with it. It might say, your coolant level is low and your washer fluid level is low. Don't really trust them, because they're rarely accurate. I don't know what's wrong with it, but sensor goes bad all the time. And if this throws you any error messages, it's gonna tell you something over here. It will say check control. This is the control. That is a check engine. Those two things are different. If you have check engine light, oh, something's bad. If you have check control, most of the time it's just some sensor glitches. This is the heater unit, and they are pretty crappy. I don't know if you saw the heater box in there, but the heater core, the whole heater core unit is only like this big, and the fan blower is on the outside of the engine. You can get access from the engine bay, and you never want to touch it. Like if the fan is not working, like the fan blower unit is dead, just know that you're not gonna have any fan. It's really hard to get to. The AC tend to go out if you don't use AC at all. So like in Seattle area where you hardly ever use AC, make sure the AC works for the defroster and all that stuff. If you're riding a convertible, because it's got some holes on the back, like it doesn't seal perfectly, so it's gonna get fogged up inside when you're raining like this. So make sure the AC works, and if it doesn't work, well, too bad. This is an automatic transmission, and the gear leverage light, oh, this one, yeah, it's broken. It always tells me I'm P, even though I'm not. And the lights go out every once in a while. Sometimes these buttons don't work. This is the sports mode, and this is the eco, and that's the manual mode. I have not figured out this whole manual shit, how this shit works, but usually you get satisfied with the sports mode. If you own a convertible and 4 doors, it will have 4 window switches, and the front ones are down auto and up auto as well. The rear ones are only down auto, and that one's squeaking like hell. This is the traction control ASC button, and this is the convertible top, open and close. Some of them are semi-manual, some of them are fully automatic. This is fully automatic. In the semi-automatics, you have to open this part and it'll do the rest. From the fully automatic one, you don't have to do anything. You just push this button, and it'll open all the way. They tend to struggle opening here, and they tend to struggle opening that part open, but you get the idea. This part is your light assembly, and technically if you light these up, all of these should light up as well, and I've never seen a single E36 that does that. These came with Harman Kardon speakers, so it's got that 10-inch subwoofer right there from the factory, and if you don't, then you'll have a really crappy speakers. They have on the stock, any car on any 36s will have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 on the left side, and same thing on the right side. This is the center unit, and it has cup holders, 2 cup holders over here, which I find it pretty small. You can't even put a little McDonald's large drink cup over there. These are coin jars, and a lot of them comes with the heated seats. We'll have a switch over here, or like over here, heated seats. Make sure they work. And if you have an automatic seats like mine, make sure this thing reclines up and down. The reason why is that, you know what, I'm gonna roll up the window. The reason why is that there is a plastic gear inside the transmission of the gear. I mean the transmission of the seat, and there's this small plastic gear about this big that cracks all the time. And same with this seat. Make sure this reclines up and down. If it doesn't, it's not very hard to fix, but something you need to check. The back seats on convertibles are just there. I mean, you just sit on it, and there's really nothing that you need to check. These come with the seatbelt pretensioner, so if you accelerate quickly or if you brake quickly, it's gonna pull the seatbelt down for you. Make sure that works. And this is the side mirror, and then this is left side, that's right side, left side, and then I can move it up and down. like that. Make sure that works on both sides. Cruise control is a little funky. I think you push it this way or pull it and just drive it down and then push it, and the cruise control will activate. This inspection light, you can reset it from the engine bay. So if it has it, just reset it. It's nothing, don't really trust that. The airbag lights are on a lot of the car. What happens is there's a side airbag on this one. This was after 98.5 to 99 years. They come with these. And airbag here, airbag over there. And when you take steering wheel off, or when you take the door panel off to get to the window, you have to unplug the airbag. And when you do that with the battery connected, it will throw the light. And you have to take it to the dealership or get this like $100 tool that deletes that light. All my 3 cars have it, and rumors are like, if you have the light on, your airbag's not gonna work. That is false. Even if the light's on there, if you get into an accident, airbag will still blow up and it'll still save your ass. It's raining pretty hard, but this is the horn. Does not work when the car is off. I did not know that. These are the lights. If you're in sedans or coupe, we'll have 2 lights over there too. Make sure those work. And this is if you're on a coupe or sedans, it will have a light over here, which will turn on when you go like this. The handbrakes, make sure that works. And the key tumbler, this is a fucking pain in the hell part. These key tumblers are horribly designed. This one, it turns around with no problem, but at a certain point you might find out that your key tumbler just spins forever to one direction, and the car will never really go into this mode or start. And if it has problem, you will probably know, because car's not gonna start. But try to kind of mess around with it, try to feel the key tumbler to see if they're pretty good. If it free spins and if it takes like effort, with the steering wheel and effort and all that stuff, key tumbler is not in a good condition. And if the key tumbler goes out, you have to replace this whole tumbler unit, which you have to put a pin in there and find this like a locking mechanism, and then unlock. It's pretty difficult. I tried that. And some people who doesn't want to bother with it drill a hole underneath there through the key tumbler to make it work. You know what's cool is that on the glove box there's a flashlight that never works. I swear, never works. This is the E36 sag that people tell about, that this gearbox sags. See that? A lot of people say, why does it matter? Oh, trust me, it'll matter. You drive, you look, and it's like, oh, it's sagging. It's sagging. It sags. It just sags. And if it sags, don't worry about it. There's a DIY how to fix it. You can put a bunch of holes in there and then zip tie it, or you can take it apart and do it right. Your call. Another thing that you want to check is the fog lights. The fog lights, they always fall out, and you will find out why they fall out once you take out the bumper. The brackets on these cars for the fog lights are absolutely fucking horrible. I have fog lights over there, somewhere over there, to put it on this car, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult. The fog light don't work, just doesn't work. I mean, if the fog lights are working, you'll be able to see. And the factory alarm system, they did come with factory alarm system, and I'm trying to find my key. You know what? I have no idea where I put my key at, but This is aftermarket one. The factory ones are, oh, right here. This is the factory one. It's actually funny because it's made in Japan. It's made in Japan. BMW, made in Japan. This is the stock one. This is just lock and a lock arm, and I don't know what this is. The whole unit is underneath the dash, like basically through this. That's where this is. It's fairly easy to do. I prefer these because these have a shock sensor, and if someone touches your car, the alarm goes off. And this is a door lock, a lock, and that's about it. I mean, on the interior, oh, the window, you'll find out if the window's not working. It could be the regulator itself is bent. This is they're the scissor type. You know, the scissor type ones. You know, there's one over there, there's one over there, and they just move up and down. They tend to break because people slam these doors, and they're very fragile regulators. So when you slam it, it can bend, or the motor is bent, or it's like a clip type. There's like a small clip on the actual window mounting points. Those clips can break and the window comes off the rail. Just a lot of ways, and literally every single E36 that I've seen has some kind of window problems. It's a very common issue. Now we're inside 328 4-door. Basically the same stuff. Like the Comet is a little bit different, and this got the 4-spoke steering wheel and loose airbag. Oh, this is 5-speed. You might have the Getrag transmission or ZF. ZF is better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I never really worry about gearbox. These are so durable. You never have to worry about them. They last pretty long. On the back door, if you have a sedan, you might have the folding back seats, or you might have those pretty rare flat back seats which just stays there, doesn't move. That's the most rigid chassis you can get. Like I said, the back windows roll down. This is the sunroof, which car has to be on. Other than that, there are other videos that goes more to the depth on the engine and transmission, that kind of parts, like the blue flywheel of death. Those are pretty common issues, and there are other bunch of issues like the vanos, you have to rebuild the vanos, the Dr. vanos and all that stuff. But tends to be pretty reliable. It might have some issues here and there, but they tend to be pretty reliable car, and these engines are bulletproof. If you take a good care of them, these will last forever. Like this one has 220,000 miles. It still runs like a dream. Starts right up and then sounds great. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. You can go a little bit more depth into these by watching other videos, but I've basically covered majority of the things that you want to check when you're purchasing a used one. So I hope you guys find a nice E36. These are pretty much the best handling car for the budget, and unless you live in like this kind of condition where it rains every day, you'll love those LSDs. They handle pretty great. You can drift all day. I find this car easier to drift than 240, but that's just my opinion. So if you guys have any questions, or if you guys think I missed something, or if you guys find some misinformation on my video, please comment and let me know, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.